CalazCon is a show about war, obsession, colonialist occupation, and the many forms of violence those inflict. See the description for content warnings specific to this episode.
This is Dr. Matt Mitchell.
Dr. McWar Criminal.
Do you have any medical expertise, Adrian?
Yes, I do.
Next time I'll shoot you.
I'm continuing to be a terrorist.
I don't know. We're in the business of turning frowns upside down, right?
We're not in the business of turning frowns into smiles. We're in the business of killing people. I don't think any of us are getting out of this war.
I could let you out, but you said you were already free.
All right, well, that was a train. Certainly that trained your resolve, I think. We've got 2 more actions for Adrian and 1 more for each of the others. So let's try and get 1 more Adrian thing on screen here before we start with the final rounds.
Guess I could try to finish up that project. Okay, I have kind of a complicated idea on this.
Yeah.
What I would like to do is use the phasmid and the now web of chain of command that I have, and I want to spoof some emails to the DFS officials stationed on my homeworld. And basically, I want to try to bribe them into doing unethical things. 1, so that I have corruption that I can expose, and 2, I can try to radicalize more of the people on my homeworld to resist the occupation. And what I think this looks like is bribing DFS people to maybe deal with some of the unsightly shrines and things that people have on the station. So I kind of I joked about them being black metal miner people, but I think part of sort of the unique topology or topography of the exploded moon is that it has all of these holes and tunnels, and the spiritual belief of the people that live there believe that they were sort of insectoid creatures that lived in the moon before it exploded and tunneled all of these holes. So there is a little bit of bug worship.
This explains your weird spider thing, huh?
Yeah, it's cultural. Just culturally into bugs, And I want to send some emails to see if I can bribe some DFS people into either removing the shrines or compromising them, basically to have them do unethical things through a bribe, which I could try to expose them for, and also piss off some of the people on my homeworld to try to radicalize them into taking more action against their occupiers.
Okay.
So I think this is probably sway since I'm spoofing emails.
Yeah, I think so. Go ahead and give me a sway fortune roll.
Okay. 3 and a 2, fuck.
That's 1 tick.
Yeah.
That seems... So, it's successful, but I think this is the sort of thing that requires sort of some time to play out. Yeah. Right? And that is probably why it doesn't, immediately tick up the rest of the clock. But hey, you're at 6 out of 8 now. Mm-hmm. And that's... that ain't nothing. Let's bring it back around to Pops, because I know that Koa has known what their final free downtime action is for a while.
I kind of messed myself up on this one, so I wanted to ask, what would be more fun? Should I use my time to schmooze, or should I use my time to collect?
You guys didn't end up with quite as much leftover stuff as it looked like. We went through that material and personnel. Right now, we've only got 1 extra bit of personnel that's going to need to be spent to not be lost. And we've just, given how frequently y'all get requisition as your entanglement, it might be nice to keep a little bit in the bank to pay people off.
I kind of want to collect on this one.
Oh, okay.
Were you saying
what I was going to say was that,
instead?
It might be nice to schmooze so that you can finally get some more, juice with the DFS. But
let's schmooze.
But, either one. You could also spend the last personnel to collect and get, keep it chained.
Do I have to choose who I'm schmoozing with?
You have to choose the faction you're schmoozing with, and then you have to kind of describe how you're doing that, I think. Let me go to the downtime actions vertical here. Schmooze. Describe what you do to improve relations with the faction. Make a fortune roll with an appropriate action. Increase trust with that faction according to the result.
Well, the frontline people are Terminal Company?
That's right.
We're at a -1 with them.
They're at a -1 with you.
Schmooze is for the faction, though, not for the
They don't
squads.
like you. Y'all like them, theoretically.
Okay, who doesn't like us right now? That would make sense.
Schmooze is for the faction, not for the squads.
Right. Schmooze is for the faction. The whole DFS.
Oh, so it'd be the DFS.
Right, which, we can get in good with the DFS by being nice to one of their squads, for sure.
Let's do a DFS thing. What can we do to make the DFS happy? Their kids probably go to the school also, too, right?
Probably.
This is like a DFS military school, right?
Yeah.
Right, we're DFS. So.
We should... could I arrange the Parents' Day?
Yeah, tell me what that entails, what that looks like.
Okay, so, sorry, because this is my anime showing right now. Well, the Parents' Day, right? It's like all the kids get to compete in like fun activities and all that, but then it's also a time to meet the other parents and try to glad hand and network with them as well. So I would say that I was the one who planned it, right? Like we planned cute stuff like 3-legged races, maybe skeet shooting. I don't know, like space polo. Like what do like rich people in space do, right?
What? Great question. It sounds like you've come up with a good list of what rich people in space do.
Yeah, so this is a time in order to glad hand and shake, and I'm hoping that a bit of the notoriety that I have built up then kind of generates goodwill during this Parents' Day.
This sounds like consorting to me.
You know what? Didn't I just get a pip in consort?
You have 1 die in consort, yeah. And if you want to solicit one of your squad mates for help, they can do that. How are you helping terrorists to glad hand?
Here's the thing. I go back the furthest with Koa than anybody else on the squad because we were fucking cellmates. And
that's true.
It was part of Koa's, charm that got me out of jail in the first place. And then since I've been out of jail, I've been basically doing exactly what I was doing before I got put in jail. And I want to help out Koa so that Koa knows that I appreciate him. And if I end up going back to jail, despite your efforts to keep me out of jail, that it was nothing personal. And I do care about your friendship and think you're a good person and want to help.
Aww.
That's very sweet.
Could you be our DJ?
Absolutely.
Hell yeah. I mean, just looking at Adrian's portrait, I bet that they have just the sickest tunes, right?
Yeah, right. It's just, like, Adrian's putting out heat the whole time.
It's like a little bit too dancey and like banging for like a fucking parents meeting thing. But,
This is depending on how this rolls. 2 of the parents who are not married to each other might end up hooking up. We'll see.
There it is.
Oh shit!
We're making more babies. Let's go.
Home wrecking. Okay,
So,
It's one way to expand the DFS.
that's one way to expand.
So we're doing a consort.
2 dice.
Feeling good. Let's go. That's a 6. That's a 6, baby.
That is a 4 and a 6. That's 3 ticks with your parent faction. So it sounds like things go really well.
Could I spend in order to get a critical? I can. Spend 1 personnel to increase result by 1 level.
If the rest of the squad is okay with that.
May I?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, let's do it.
So that'll be 2 more then, right? So now you're only 3 ticks away from being at a +1 relationship with your faction, which might be nice.
Oh, I think we had a productive yet competitive Rice Krispies making contest.
Sure. Did you make the Rice Krispies into something cool? Like, are they little Rice Krispie Avies or?
Yeah, 100% they are. Yes,
Okay.
like because they had to taste good and be as close to the Avi you were trying to make it for.
They have to taste as much like the Avi that they look like?
No, they have to taste good and they have to look like the Avi.
Sorry. I misheard that. Okay.
Oil and dirt and blood.
And
Yum.
sounds like Edrian's tunes are extremely bopping, but don't end any marriages, which is also.
But we probably get some good like TikTok content of like children dancing and stuff.
I think one of you is able to capture on film Havoc dancing with his husband.
Aww.
And this is the future, so like dancing has gotten really over the top. They're like, dirty grinding out on the floor to these sick beats that Adrian is dropping. You like film it and like have like the TikTok label that's like, when your boss gets crunk at the work function or whatever.
It's especially funny because Havoc's like the most checked out fucking dude. He and his husband are just going to town. I'm not going to commit to a look for his husband yet because I don't know. I don't feel like looking through that whole list of NPCs right now. And you don't know the name of Havoc's husband either. That is also a secret that I'll reveal later.
That's going to be my next downtime function.
Okay, their name is Let's Slip the Dogs of War. No, not really. I did briefly seriously think about it.
Oh.
Well, that was great. We have 1 downtime action each left for Calico, Winter's Pledge, and Edrian.
I think I know what Calico's doing.
Okay.
While Parents' Day is going on,
Uh-huh.
Calico is joining a raid
Okay.
on Praxian Plaza. So I'm gonna do a collect action.
Okay.
We've had this element of whenever Koa is doing like a big look at me,
Mm-hmm.
Calico goes off and does something underhanded.
I do want to just remind you, in the interest of full disclosure, because you mentioned it earlier in the episode, Lauren, you had mentioned maybe doing another acquire asset to keep your carrier.
Yes, we would need 2 6s for that to happen. It's not going to happen.
Got it.
This is Calico going, I know there is no possibility of that given the outcomes of my future.
So we want to collect to maybe make that possible.
Yes.
Got it. Okay, cool.
Not maybe to make it possible, but also to just like, I think part of this is I don't know that Calico is the one who is like, I'm going to go do this. I think like a missive came through and it's like, hey, DFS is planning a raid on Praxian Plaza. Go assist and steal some supplies and you'll be paid out for it, basically.
Okay.
Praxian Plaza is like a residential block that they just fucking leveled to build a convention center.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
And so part of what Calico is doing here is like working with people to essentially reclaim some of the supplies and give them back to the people who were screwed over, and then they get paid out for it. So like it's Parents' Day. Where's Calico? Smash cut to the final act of Time and Reason firing missiles.
So it's a 4-floor convention center, and what does this raid look like? Now, the rules for collect are a little weird, right? As far as like what dice you roll?
It's just if you get a 1, something else happens.
Right, but you roll dice equal to the wealth rating. Okay.
Yes.
Supply points equal to the highest die, 9 on a crit. If any dice come up as a 1.
Yep.
Gain supply points and roll an entanglement determined by your relationship with a faction or squad that controls that region. Presumably, that region is controlled by CalazCon?
Yeah, I don't know which squad I do know which squad. Jacob's Junkers?
Okay.
Is that what they're called?
Sure.
Yeah, Jacob's Junkers runs the construction project at Praxian Plaza. So if they're on our factions and squad sheets...
They sure are.
They are. They sure are.
But it would still be, you'd be using the ERI, because when you roll entanglements, you do it according to the faction's opinion of you, right? So, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. What it looks like is they're building, what are they building? They're building like a big dome, I think. And there's all these like Avis that are, basically like putting out these mass constructed seats. And this is going to be like a massive panel area. And the top of the dome just explodes.
Oh, nice.
Like downward. And the final act of Time and Reason just descends with probably a small squad of DFS people. And it's more, hey, look at me, I'm a big, massive flying death angel.
Sure.
And the DFS bots are like just quickly scooping up any supplies they can. And then I give them cover as we retreat.
Okay. Sick.
It's just a quick hit and run while a lot of people are distracted by community day at the college.
Yeah, so give me 2d6, and also, do you still have a 2 in your pool, or is it all
I do
ones?
still have a 2 in my pool, but should we use the 1?
That will automatically get you an entanglement.
I think that's fun.
Okay. I'm glad one of us does.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm going to use the 1. I mean, because like the whole thing here is...
No. I was being,
I also wanted this to be like, Calico is going on his own, because he knows something bad is going to happen.
I am calling it now. After, we see the 1 in the pool, and you have to roll again, it's going to be a 6. I promise you it's going to be a 6.
Oh my
and a 6.
God.
2 1s and a 6 on this roll.
Okay.
So, that means we get 6 supply.
Get 6
Cool.
supply. Do you want to split that up 3 and 3, or did we want to do that asymmetrical?
Or do we do a stupid here? Okay, you can't increase the effect on
not on a collect.
So let's do 3 and 3, or maybe a bunch of material or personnel. I don't know. Now we can take a bunch of bonus actions.
Yeah. I tell you what, I'll give until the end of Winter and Edrian's
you know what?
things to determine what
Personnel
that is.
doesn't make sense.
Well, you can also...
We went and stole supplies.
Right, but because it's undifferentiated supply, right, which means the way it can be personnel is like you turn stuff that you stole from them into bribes, right? And that's how you get personnel points.
That makes sense, but I think we did get more raw materials than anything, so I want to go
4 and 2. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Let me just do a quick...
Fucking, like, parent-teacher day is over, and everyone walks into the hangar.
Ooh, boy.
What do you got there, Calico?
All right, but you're gonna get an ERI. You're gonna get a CalazCon entanglement. So I hope you're ready for that.
If a squad needs to be the focus of it, it'll be Jacob's Jumpers.
Yeah. No. So it's the we only use your squad status if it was an independent squad that owned the region.
But I mean, like, if
it'll be Jacob's
squad.
Junkers will be the one demanding whatever from you, right? Probably.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me remember how to build the dice pool. 3 minus your relationship with your faction, so that's with your patron faction, or the faction with their highest. Okay, so it's always with your patron faction. So 3. So just roll 3 dice. One of them has to be a 1, right? Because of your
one of them has to be
a 2. Or a 1 or a 2.
A 1 or a 2.
Right. Okay.
And lower's better, right?
Lower is better on this. This is the only time where lower is better.
There's going to be a 1 in there.
But you still take the highest die, right?
Is that true?
Yes. Yeah, that's why. So, like, when you have a positive, you're trying to get down to 0 dice on your entanglements. And so when you have a higher relationship with your faction, your patron faction, you have fewer dice in that pool, which is paradoxically good. And this is also one of the ways in which, as a forewarned, you can use like these low rolls.
Under entanglements, it does say if the most recently targeted squad belongs to a faction, use your relationship with that faction. So
right.
Be
that's
table B.
That's if
so it
that's
would be table B,
right? But your dice pool is still so it's
I was just trying to make sure I knew which.
Sorry,
which
you are rolling on table B, which is the table you guys have always rolled on.
Okay, cool.
So you're going to give me 2d...
3 minus the squad's relationship level with their patron faction, so 2 dice, and then we're automatically getting a 1 in
No,
here.
your relationship with your patron faction is still 0.
Even.
So yeah, so you're rolling 2 and you're getting a 1.
2, and there's automatically a 1. 4 to 5.
Hey, a 5. Debriefing. One of your superiors questions your squad. They grill one of your pilots. It's Calico.
Yeah, I was like, wait. Oh, you're either going to grill the guy who put together Parents' Day.
You are going to make a fortune roll using your squad's tier, which is 1, to see how well you resist the pressure. You only have a 2 left in your pool, right?
Yeah.
So your choices are, in this moment, Calico. Whatever you did during that raid ticked off someone in the brass.
For sure. A giant angel robot swept over the... It was very obvious who did this, and we are supposed to be looking good.
Yeah, you have a very recognizable Avi. Someone in the brass is upset. Your 2 options are, because you can't roll anything better than a 2, right? On this fortune roll for the debriefing.
Make a fortune roll using our tier, which is 1, so it will have to be a 2.
You will either take a level 2 harm, or you can bribe the grunts who grab you with 1 personnel to sort of avoid the debriefing. Good thing y'all have that doctor, huh?
Yeah, I don't want to go into the next thing with a level 2 harm, though. And we did just get some extra personnel, so I'll just bribe them.
Okay.
Yeah, let's bribe them.
So
I bribe the grunts who come and grab me, right?
Yeah, that's what it says. Yep.
It's they show up, like the DFS soldiers show up in our hangar, and they're like, Calico, you need to come with us, blah, blah, blah. And Calico's like, yeah, sure, I know, but just, hey, can you do me a favor and hang on to this? And, like, wheels over a crate that was, like,
full of cigars and porno mags. No.
what is the convention swag equivalent of cigars and porno mags?
I mean, maybe it is. It's like swag, right? It's CalazCon themed merchandise.
It's CalazCon themed merch. It's a bunch of
because you stole it from the convention hall or from a convention.
Yeah, it's a bunch of gunpla.
There you go.
Calico's like, can you hang on to this for a little bit? It just bribes these guys with a case of gunpla. And I'm sure there's like t-shirts or plushies or something in there too. And the guards are like, okay, yeah, we'll take that. They could flip it or build it or do whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. It's like a case full of like, master grade, whatever. So that rules. Okay. I'll take it.
And now we have to get rid of all these requisitioned assets before downtime ends.
We could also just do some like big XP boosts, training montages.
That's the main thing, is like this will give us a little bit of extra.
Training montages. The Rocky 5 theme starts playing. Everyone's doing chin-ups in the school gymnasium. Sorry. Okay. That was Calico's turn. See, that's why I was wondering if you didn't want to have all that extra material, because y'all don't usually take when you take extra actions, it tends to be personnel.
That's true, but we should start working on vehicle enhancements.
That, I don't disagree with that either. Okay. Well, Winter and Adrian, I have a feeling I know what Adrian wants to do.
Yeah.
But do you want to just go ahead and do it?
I'm trying to think of like what it should be, though. How are you feeling, Mary? Do you know what you want to do?
I know, I'm going to cut loose.
Oh, good idea.
Because I'm at 8 stress.
Oh, hey, so you can't overindulge. That's good.
Yeah. It's impossible. Yeah. And I think I will go ahead and cut loose with Calico, if that works.
I mean, you just want to think about the person that you want to have a second belief with. Oh, speaking of Calico, did you decide what you wanted your new belief about Koa to be?
I did.
Will you just give a quick preview of that?
Calico's new belief about Koa is Koa's cheerful disposition will not save him from his fate.
Ouch. Okay. So back to Winter. What are you and Calico doing to...
Whoa, man. Fuck you, dude.
I'm a grim, angry man.
Okay, but I'm a very soft teddy bear. So we need to figure this out.
JPG is playing the first nice officer in the history of Beam Saber.
Oh, 100%. That was my whole goal.
So sorry, Marigold. What is Winter and Calico doing to cut loose? What activity are y'all indulging in?
I think we're doing just some relaxing, run-of-the-mill target shooting.
Target shooting. Okay.
Ooh, that's fun.
Yeah, I think we're up like on a little bit of like a hill, like a little overlook with like a little dirt patch valley thing. It's not really a valley, it's just a dip, really. And then another hill on the other side, so we don't have to worry about where the bullets are going too much. It's going into that other hill. But we can just kind of look down and, maybe we have some like bottles or cans set up, whatever. We just got some stuff and we're just hanging out.
Are y'all pounding some beers?
Yeah, pounding some beers, sharing some cigars or cigarettes or whatever,
What is Calico definitely smokes a pipe.
Of course.
Okay.
He's an old man.
Excellent.
How many of your bodies are there?
There's 2 there, but like some of the others kind of like trickle in and out, like they kind of come, hang out for a bit and then leave, because they all think it's fun and endorphins are in each body. So, but yeah, we'll focus again on body number 6 sitting there on one side, and on the other side is somebody we haven't seen yet. Body number 4 hasn't been on screen.
Tell us about body number 4.
Yeah, body number 4 is a late 20s, non-binary presenting, androgynous, I guess, presenting black person with laughing lavender irises. Has kind of like what if an afro was a mohawk kind of a thing.
Kind of like Mr. T.
Less mohawk than that. Maybe it's more like what if an afro had an undercut.
Oh, okay, I see.
And so it's just like kind of big on top, but it's not just like out and round everywhere. Anyway, kind of a shorter body, 5'3", muscular and fluid. Wears a black leather jacket, white button-up, long sleeve t-shirt, a bolo tie with a dark red rectangular stone set in black metal, black almost denim pants, and black leather cowboy boots. And they always carry an instant print camera, like a Polaroid camera.
Cool.
That's fun.
That's them. So that one, and then the artificial body with the forearms and the skirt and whatnot, hanging out. So we'll just start the conversation, I guess. I heard you got into a little bit of trouble, Calico.
Where'd you hear that from?
Oh, I've got eyes and ears everywhere.
I think Calico's tried to suss out which trouble they're referring to. And then, reloads the magazine in their firearm and takes aim and starts, fires off a few rounds at the target. For someone who's everywhere, you certainly are scarce these days.
Raises an eyebrow, cocks their, it's like a old-fashioned lever action rifle.
Ooh, fancy.
Takes aim, shoots the same target you just shot. You knocked it back 3 feet or whatever, and then I shoot the same one and say, I'm not sure what you mean by that. I think I just saved your life last time we were out.
Is this the same body that went down there with Calico?
Body 4 was there. Body 6 wasn't part of that. They stayed on the bridge.
Gotcha. I would have been fine, but I do appreciate the help.
They just smirk and glance at, where your stitches are, even though it's all covered up with armor and whatever, but
yeah,
we know. Takes another shot at a target.
Calico says, I knew I was going to make it out, but I wasn't sure about you.
Well, we are quite attached to each one of these bodies, but the truth is, if one meets their demise, there are more of us, and we carry their memory. Literally, we have all that they've experienced within us. So, as it would be tragic because that body represents a person that joined our collective, all of who they were and are would still be retained.
I have a question. Do you remember the night we met?
Of course.
But it wasn't you I met.
No. It was one of our minds.
So, If one of you dies, and someone new is brought into the fold, but I've already met them, which memory is the real one? I suppose they're both real, but how do you grapple with those emotions?
Ah, right. You're speaking to the conflict that may arise from different memories, different experiences?
Yes. I mean, let's say, for instance, we're friends.
Yes.
But me and Koa, we don't exactly get along. Now, if Koa were to be brought into your collective, whose emotions take over? Or are they separate? Could one of your being despise me while another loves me?
That is not likely. Sometimes a body holds on to certain emotions that are buried deep in their bones. But generally, everything gets processed and merged into one mind. We are one mind with different bodies that express things differently. Each body has its own ways of experiencing the world and communicating, and sometimes there are trauma-related reflexes in a body that we can't always predict, and they show up, and then we have to react accordingly.
So you say the emotions get blended, your experiences, anytime someone new is added to your collective.
Well, you know, everyone who is part of the collective right now, we all joined at the same time. We haven't added anyone new. We are all part of the original crew. You know, I don't know how much you know about us, but we were anthropologists trying to figure out how isolated communities developed over time, having branched from a single origin. That's what our mission was.
I think this is where Calico's like, yes, I recall. That's how we met. Because that's literally Calico's like whole thing, is they branched off from the Church of the Celestial Myriad and they became like, their culture was a tiny fleet of mobile ships. So I think that's probably how I knew the body from before.
Right, that makes sense, yeah. Yes, right. That's right. And we got stuck on the wrong side of the battle line, and it was an act of desperation. We merged our minds together. There were more of us, but not everyone was able to survive until we were able to return safely, until we were rescued.
Well, I suppose everyone does grow and change. It's good to know that my old friend is still in there, isn't the right word. Still part of you.
Yes, very much.
Calico, like, empties the rest of their magazine.
I was about to say, this sounds like a really great shooting beers and shooting targets conversation.
Look, don't have a conversation with Calico if you aren't ready to be like you're talking to a priest, right? It's weird.
I love how Calico really just brings a great energy to every scene that they're in.
I just want you to know that since we are part of the same team, you and I, we will always look out for you. We never want you to experience what we did on that ship those years ago. You can count on us.
I can't be everywhere at once, but someone I care about is in there. Sorry. It's hard for me not to think of it that way. You are someone I care about. I'll protect you however I can.
Absolutely love the high energy that Calico brings to all of these scenes.
I love it. It's so fun to play this like sad old space priest.
I think we can end the scene there.
I just had like one last image.
Oh yeah, sorry. Give us that last image there.
Yeah. I think like after Calico says that, Body 4 like raises like their can of beer up like for a cheers, assuming you reciprocate.
Yeah, Calico absolutely does.
Like we get a cheers and we get like a shot with like their silhouettes and like the sun starting to go down.
I think Calico at this moment is thinking about, wait, what happens if some of the bodies are drunk and the others aren't?
That's perfect. I love that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's roll it. Let's see how much stress that interaction relieved.
Oh, right. Forgot about that part.
It's gonna be 1 die for that. 6. Well, apparently that was relaxing. So go ahead and reduce yourself down to what? 2 stress instead of 8?
Yeah.
Cool. And you will also need to write a second belief about Calico at some point. We'll give you some time to think about that. We'll come back to that after Edrian's next action here. Edrian, am I correct in thinking you're going to advance your long-term project?
Yeah. I was kind of thinking about doing something else just to like leave myself more ticks of the clock to work on later, especially because it works towards my drive. But also I could just come up with more things that work towards my drive, which also, I don't think I've said in a while, but is to gain independence for my people.
Yes.
So I think I will finish it. The idea I have this time is I want to become an anonymous informant for a local leftist journalist organization. Because I feel like if I'm going to be feeding information, I want to find the one that's closest to me ideologically so that people don't start like investigating who I am to try to like get me in trouble.
Okay. How does this disrupt the resource pipeline?
I want to give them a bunch of information that I've collected through my espionage and also just like accounts of what is going on my homeworld so that like a leftist newspaper could write about the situation on my homeworld. You know, because it's the DFS. There's probably different factions within the DFS. There's probably a lot of people that are critical about the top brass. I want to start discourse about my homeworld and how, you know, the military is resourcing its war, you know?
What action is that?
This is where I was kind of stuck. I would like it to be either sway or interface, either like creating a data packet and like just kind of sneaking it into the files of whatever this organization is. I think it's called the Hestial Advocate.
It's the name of this leftist rag.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or introducing myself as an informant with like a whole shtick that would be interesting to them to make it sway.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you just sort of anonymously drop a digital packet into their servers, like, they might not trust that.
Yeah.
So I feel like the sway, paradoxically, though, you have more dice in interface, meaning
that's fine.
It would go better if you... It's up to you. Whichever way you think makes more sense narratively for you to approach it. Whether you think digitally dropping it off is a better way to approach this than roll interface, and if you think that going there in person but concealing your identity would be better, then it should be sway.
I think I'm going to do it as a sway and kind of lean into the like informant aspect of this.
Sure.
Maybe having a way that they could still contact me like clandestinely.
Like a burner phone or something?
Yeah. I'm trying to do like a deep throat kind of thing.
Yeah, totally.
My informant name is Umbra.
Nice. I love it. All right. Well, give me. This doesn't sound like the sort of thing someone can help you with.
No.
So give me 2 dice there. Unless you want to use the omen to get a 2. No? No? Okay. just checking.
5. That's what I needed.
A 5 and a 2. So yeah, a 5 fills this clock up, baby. I will put a note to Austin that you've done this.
Yeah, I'm happy to let Austin decide whatever this means for the setting.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and give yourself a tick in your drive. Do you want to tell us like what the first big story, what'd you say it was called? The Hestial Advocate. What the first story the Advocate breaks using your information is?
I think it's sort of a like a simple article just to kind of get the discourse going of like kind of a, did you know that the DFS is doing this to this like mining community?
They're destroying their sacred monuments. It's a thing that's definitely not being bankrolled by the person telling us about this.
You know, it's just like those posts you see on Twitter sometimes where it's like, oh shit, I didn't know that the US was doing this awful thing in this third world country and I just learned about because of the digital era.
What's the name of your home system again?
It's a a mining station within an exploded moon. I've actually been trying to look for like what the pronunciation of that word is. I think I've pronounced it like differently every time I've said it.
Oh, right. It's the
Decarabia.
Decarabia. It's from the okay, that's right. Okay, so the supply line is now disrupted.
One of them. Whatever Austin thinks is the appropriate level of damage to be done by an 8-step clock completed during downtime.
Absolutely. Okay, fantastic. I love it all. This is all extremely cool and normal. And
I feel like I've done a good job balancing being a useful team member and being a complete heel.
Yeah, like wrestling.
Yeah. Just like wrestling.
Just like wrestling.
I have my new belief for Calico.
Oh, please.
Oh, yes.
Calico's armor guards more than their physical form.
Oh,
wow.
That's true. I like that. We have to use up some resources.
How much we
you
got?
do. You've got if you want to get down to 4 in each, we've got to come up with 4 material actions and 1 personnel action.
I have a personnel action.
What would you like to do?
I want to work on my long-term project, but it is just going to be a 2, so that'll be a 1, I believe. Or long-term projects you get to roll actual dice pool stuff for, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it might be more than a 2, so we'll find out.
So yeah, tell me, this is the Find the Stolen Gate project?
Yeah, I think what Calico's doing here is last time they used the curse to basically enhance their own fortune-telling abilities, but I don't think that's the way they're going about it this time, because the curse is full of bugs.
You don't say.
Yeah, who knows how they got in?
But yeah, who could say?
So
They're
Calico's
showing.
going to do is go out and basically try to vet psychics.
Like, see who's real and who's faking it?
Yeah, basically, like, this is a
Okay.
convention, right? So there's people with tarot cards here doing, like, readings and crystals and stuff, or whatever the sci-fi equivalent of any of that is.
Sure.
Like, there's got somewhere on this convention, there has got to be people who are, whether they have real ways of doing it, or are just ripping people off, or are just trying to do, like, oh, here's, like, a mindful meditation kind of thing. Which I know a lot of tarot can be like that. I wasn't trying to imply that like tarot's just a straight ripoff. I mean, like it's a lot about what you put into it is what you get back. And basically he's trying to be like, okay, are any of these people in some way doing what I do? And yeah, just kind of wandering the con doing that, which I think is probably survey. Consort doesn't feel right because it's not allies and acquaintances.
Yeah. I think what you've described could very well be survey, right? Observing your surroundings and predicting outcomes. You're not like actually talking to people, right? You're not trying to make a good impression on them and stuff.
He's not trying to make a good impression, but I think he's definitely sitting down with some.
Right,
and, like,
but you're more concerned
things.
with like watching what they do, right? Like watching their hands
yes.
and their movements rather than like trying to read them socially. Right?
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Okay, then yeah, I think that's survey. I mean, it might even be study, but...
It might be study. I'm between the two. Because study, when you meticulously examine details for better understanding, yeah, I think it's study, to be honest.
But then you'd be rolling 0 dice, and then you would be guaranteed to get the 2, unless you rolled a 1, which would be lower.
Unless I rolled a 1.
Right?
Yeah, maybe this just isn't effective. Like, maybe he knows he's not going to get much out of it.
But he gets something, right? I think, okay... Sure, let's do it as study, and then we don't have to roll, but I guess you do have to roll to replenish your pool after this.
That's 1 mark on the clock.
So I think what the result of this is, and the reason it goes poorly, is everyone that you encounter is a fraud and a charlatan, right? There's not a single hint of legitimate predictive power that you are able to come across. So once again, and I think something similar happened with the last time you tried to advance this project, you've mostly eliminated places not to look rather than finding any good leads, right? So you're still sort of doing this by process of elimination. I think that's fine. We don't need to dwell on that anymore unless you have a particular scene you wanted to do there.
Nope. But prediction pool results are in.
1, 6, 5, and 1.
Yep.
That's a much more...
it's high and low.
It's high and low. And, again, with entanglements, it's nice to have a couple of low ones in there. with it's always one, right? You're not allowed to like take extra dice out of the roll to put more prediction dice in there, right?
No.
Okay. All right, who's up next?
So we only have extra material now?
Only got extra material now.
So is it that we can only have 4 of each, or is it that we can only have 8 total?
You can only have 4 of each.
I think really the only one that I can do is enhance, right? Work towards improving your vehicle. Add 1 mark to the vehicle enhance track.
You can do that.
We could just all do enhance once.
Yeah, could we all do enhance once?
Does everybody want to do that?
Sure.
I mean, that's, as far as material goes, that's the only thing I want to do.
Like,
Okay.
we can't manufacture. We don't need to upkeep. We could salvage the ape, but it's not worth it because that's just going to give us more supply points when we could just leave them in the ape for now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No one needs to fix. So unless there's assets we want to acquire, yeah.
I was going to say, if somebody... Well, and with that 4th, you still have 1 more material to spend if someone wants to spend that to try and maintain your carrier.
I was going to say, our luck is turned. We could try and maintain the carrier.
It would be nice to have a dropship in the next part again.
Now, I think with acquire asset, you're rolling your tier, right?
Yes, and our tier is 1, so I could guarantee it to be a 6, which is a +1.
Is the rules different for keeping a thing that you've already got?
So we would have to spend 2 personnel to pull this
Or
off.
you could hope... Wait, why would you?
Or
have to
I could
spend,
hope
Why
that-
would you have to spend 2 personnel?
Because 1 to do it in the first place.
You mean material?
Sorry, yeah, material.
Okay.
1 to do it in the first place. I could dump a 6 in there, and then 1 to turn that 6 into
If someone wants to help you, though, you could
If
get
someone
a
wants to
second
help
die,
me,
and then you just roll a 6, easy peasy. You know?
yeah.
Could I help? Because with Parents' Day, we find out that the original owner of the ship, their kid goes to the Hessiel Prep Academy as well.
We already know that they have ties there because where I met them was the fundraiser that you held last time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I mean,
We see them again, and they love the notoriety.
maybe even if we get like a 2, it's like, well, we don't get a drop ship, we just get a ship.
Yeah. Just a quick reminder, the name of that person is Paid Promotion.
Yes. Paid promotion.
Yeah.
Fucking love that is so good.
He has metallic cosmetic implants on his head.
So this is just Koa and Calico sitting down with Paid Promotion to like renegotiate. Last time went well. Their stuff got seen and it did good.
So which of you is actually doing the acquire asset? Is it?
It's got to be me if we want the 6.
Makes sense. Okay.
So I will do it, and I'll put the 6 in there, and then we get to roll 1 die.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Label for roll.
Shit, please.
A 5.
It's not a 6.
It is a 5.
But, okay. But then we can spend 1 more materiel because we have a 6 guaranteed to push it to a crit.
You could, yeah.
Correct?
If you get, I mean, it's not. There's not like a rule that says you have to keep your bank totally full.
That's true.
You
We
know.
could just spend another one if everyone wants to do
Yeah.
that. We can make sure we have the dropship for next time.
Quick informal
I think
poll.
having the dropship again would be great.
Well,
Sure.
how do you feel, Devin and Mary?
I'm down. I have no uses
for
for
it.
material at the moment, so.
Okay. Then yeah, I say we just spend the extra one, and it takes some convincing, but we get it.
Yeah, I think Paid is like, well, you did good work with the Glorious Odds last time. I'd hate to see it languishing in a hangar somewhere, so until another client needs it, you can keep it.
Awesome.
I think as we're leaving the meeting, I'm just like, wow, I'm really glad you guys cleaned off all of the blood.
Calico finally cracks a smile and says, "That's why I needed it. We haven't done that yet."
That was beautiful.
Thanks for listening to CalazCon. This episode was edited and sound balanced by Christine Blight. You can reach her for voice acting at cvblight@gmail.com. The show's music is by Devin Nelson. You can find them on all social media at Devin Decibel. If you'd like to support CalazCon, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/CalazCon. Please tell your friends about the show too. Remember, all glory to Calazar.